Okay, good afternoon, everyone. We're back live and alive right here at the Department of Education Region 11. As the Department of Education Region 11, we have our universal duty to protect our children. And the positive discipline in everyday teaching develops a collaboration with Save the Children and the ENET Philippines aim to help our teachers implement positive and non-violent discipline in the school. My courtesy to our Regional Director, Director 4, Dr. Alan G. Farnazo, with our Assistant Regional Director, Dr. Maria Ines C. Asuncion, CESO 4, with our Chief of the Human Resource Development Division, Chief Lorna F. Mapinogos, together with our Schools Division Superintendents and our Assistant Schools Division Superintendents, and to the entire Department of Education Region 11 participants, welcome to our afternoon session in our regional division, positive discipline and everyday teaching through our virtual training program. How's everyone after lunch? I know for a fact that we thoroughly enjoyed ourselves together with our colleagues during our lunch break, right? I hope everyone was having a satisfying meal together with friends, colleagues in our stations. Okay, at this time, flash on the screen, Sir Josh, of course, our technical director from the ICTU Region 11. Thank you so much, Sir Josh Wong, together with Mr. Pocholo Hernandez, and of course, Mr. Eugene Dorado, make it all the way possible through our online this time. Okay, so we have on the screen, Josh, a while back on our registration link. If in case that you have a difficulty having a registration link, we'll just give a prompt to our ICTU Technical Director, Sir Josh Wong. Okay, so there you go. flash on the screen at this time is the afternoon registration link. Please don't forget to fill out the necessary information of what has been asked with our registration link today. Okay, do not forget to utilize our chat box for your inquiries and inputs this morning. Wow, that was really a very productive engagement where our chat box was really utilized in your questions in the walkthrough of some of the questions thrown in my presentation. Thank you very much, the entire Region 11 participating on this first batch on the Regional Division Positive Discipline in Everyday Teaching. Okay, so once again, we'll be asking permission from everyone to prevent and avoid and of course to abide the Data Privacy Act that this webinar is recorded. Okay, so at this time, we also would like to give this chance, giving all our schools division offices for tomorrow, before we'll get through with our next session facilitator, that tomorrow in our invocation, Davao del Norte Division is the assigned SDO, and our virtual management of learning will be from the division of Davao de Oro. But as well, our curriculum implementation chief divisions in our SDOs will assign to those who will have and lead for the invocation and at the same time our virtual management of learning. And that's all the way coming from the divisions of Davao del Norte and Davao de Oro, respectively. Thank you very much. So what's up for our next session facilitator this morning? Wow, we thank our session facilitator, the introduction on the positive discipline in everyday teaching, a primer for Filipino students, a senior education program specialist from the Human Resource Development Division, Dr. Geoffrey L. Bernabe, followed with Dr. Isidra B. Despi, a Human Resource Development Division, our education program supervisor with Ma'am Jonas Fiore, Senior Education Program Specialist of the Davao City Division, in our session 2, part 1 this morning, Positive Discipline in Everyday Teaching, Foundation of Positive Discipline in Schools, the Child Rights Principles, and the Pedagogical Principles by yours truly, Maureen Ava B. Acuña, an Education Program Specialist too, of the Human Resource Development Division right here in Davao Region. And of course, at this time, coming up next with our next session facilitator who will discuss more of our PDET, our positive discipline in everyday teaching. And the afternoon has become so practically interesting and so challenging because we are dealing with no less than our clientele, and those are our learners. And the session 3, part 2, facilitator, the practice of positive discipline in schools, identifying long-term goals from the division of Davao Oriental. Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, with our resounding round of virtual applause with Miss Mary Grace Irai Mercado. Madam, please take it away.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Grace Iray from DepEd Division of Davao Oriental. Earlier, during session 1, the facilitators discussed the principles that underlie positive discipline approach together with child rights principle and explained the educational and pedagogical principles on which positive discipline approach is based. In this session 2, we will setting long-term goal. We will identify on how to make positive discipline is put into practice. This is the PDET model. The first level is setting long-term goals. The second level is providing warmth and providing structure. The third level is understanding child development, and the fourth level is recognizing individual differences. The fifth model, the fifth level is problem solving. According to the building blocks of positive discipline, the first thing to do to make positive discipline put into practice is to identify long-term goals. But before we identify our long-term goals, let's first have an activity. Situation number 1. Look at the picture. There is a teacher and there are students inside the classroom. Tomorrow, your students are going to write a national examination. You have been working with them for 2 months to master the material. This is your last day to help them prepare. Some of the students are not concentrating today. They were playing to each other, laughing and disrupting classes. You have told them to settle down, but they continue to make noise and distract other students. So as a teacher, what will you do? So there's our questions related to situation number 1. How are you feeling? As a teacher, how do you feel when you know that this is your last day to help your students master their material? How do you feel when your students are not listening to you? As a teacher, how do you feel when you ask your students to settle down but they don't listen? So as a teacher, you feel stress. As a teacher, kahilakon ka sa situation. As a teacher, naguol ka sa situation. As a teacher, nagsakit ang imong ulo. As a teacher, naglagot ka. So, all answers in number 1, we identify your feelings. Number 2, what do you want to make happen at this moment? As a teacher, unsay gusto nimo mahitabo karon dayon? As a teacher, you want your students to behave. As a teacher, you want your students to be quiet. As a teacher, you want your students to listen to you. As a teacher, you want your students to pay attention to you. So all these answers in number 2, we seek to identify your short-term goal. Number 3, what will you do to make these things happen right now? As a teacher, unsay imong buhaton para mahitabo dayon ang imong short-term goal? As a teacher, how would you react? What is your action to make or to achieve your short-term goal? As a teacher, sometimes other teachers are yelling to the students. Some teachers are threatening their students. Some teachers are sending them out of the classroom. Some of the teachers are hating their students just to aim their short-term goal. So number 3, your answers seek to identify your behavior. Situation number 2. In our home, look at the picture. The mother is ironing. There is a child. At the back of mother, there's a oven. Nagluto si mom. So in home, as a parent, you have spent the entire day doing household chores. Your son comes to you asking for snacks. You tell him to wait for a few minutes as you finish ironing one of his clothes. Your son starts to become impatient. So as a mother, what will you do? How will you react in this situation? Same question to situation 1. How are you feeling as a mother? How do you feel when you are doing something and your son is asking food? How are you feeling when you're doing your household chores and your son is waiting and getting impatient for his snacks? So as a mother, as a parent, you feel stress. As a parent, you feel naglagot. As a parent, you feel irritated, nairita. As a parent, you feel tension. So, then we identify your feelings. Number 2, what do you want to make happen at this moment? As a mother, unsay gusto nimo mahitabo karon dayon? Na imong anak nag-ask og snack and then nag-start na siya og mag-tantrums while ikaw nag-work, nag-plan siya. So as a mother, unsay gusto nimo mahitabo karon dayon? As a mother, you want your child to be quiet. As a mother, you want your child to wait for a while. As a mother, you want your child to behave. Number 3, what will you do to make these things happen right away? So as a mother, imong anak nag-start na ang tantrums. Unsa imong buhaton karon dayon para ma-achieve nimo imong short-term kaganina na gusto nimo mahitabo sa imong anak na imong anak mag-behave, mag-hulat, o mag-stay lang sa area. So, unsa imong buhaton karon dayon? So, as a mother, sometimes tend to kusi, inch, sa kalagot. Sometimes, parents do hitting, bunalan, edi kahulat. Sometimes, parents yell, musinggit, dili ka kahulat. So, these answers in number 3 would seek to identify your behavior. Situation number 3. Look at the picture. There's a man and there is a woman. And then I think they are arguing. And there are papers between them. So number 3, this happened inside our office. The deadline for the year-end report is fast approaching. Your superior reminds you to ensure that the report is ready for submission. As you go through each document, you find that several files have not been complied by another department. An argument starts brewing as you confront a member of that department. So usually this happens in, inside the office. So as an employee, what will you do? What will you do if you are in the situation? How will you feel if you are in the situation? So same question, how are you feeling? How do you feel when you know that daghang may mga kulang na documents na imong kailangan? So as an employee, you feel na naguol. As an employee, you feel na kulba. As employee, you feel na frustrated. As employee, you feel na nangurog sa kahadlok siguro. So, we identify your feelings. These are your feelings if you are in the situation. Number 2, what do you want to make happen at this moment? So, as an employee, unsa gusto nimo mahitabo karon dayon? So, as an employee, you want your colleagues to submit report ASAP. What will you do to make these things happen right away? Unsa imong buhaton karon dayon para ma-achieve nimo ang katong imong short-term goal? As an employee, you will go to the person and then talk to him or to her. Istoryahon nimo siya. Usually, pag ing-ani na situation, naatay ma-encounter na arguments or misunderstandings. Especially if imong kasturya is naapoy ginabuhat na report, naapoy ginabuhat na activity. Especially na nagdali-dali po sila. So sometimes, we experience this kind of situation inside the office. So this situation, from situation 1, inside the classroom, situation 2, in our home, situation 3, in our office, these are situations that one of short-term stress. So based on the situations, short-term stress have 3 main features. The first one is feelings. Ganina ang nabati, where you are in an emotional state of frustration, anger, and powerless. The second main feature is short-term goals. You identify your short-term goals based on the situation. With this, you want to change their behavior right away. Gusto nimo mahitabo karon dayon. And the third main feature of short-term stress is behavior, where you try to force to change behavior through gaining power and control. So this situation, from situation 1 to 3, are common in our school, in our office, and in our home. Now think about your current students right now. Then think about your current children. And think about your current colleagues. And imagine this. They are all grown up. Nandaggo na sila. That's in the middle of 20s. Let's just say middle of 20s. So imagine your student, your children, your colleagues will look like at that age. Unsa kaya itsura sa ilaha ing ana na edad? Think about what is going on inside of you as a teacher, as a parent, and as a leader. Question number 1. What will you feel when you see them at that age? So, as a teacher, as a parent, as a leader, unsa imong nabati kung makita nimo ang imong mga estudyante, ang imong anak, ang imong mga colleagues na ana na edad. So, as a teacher, as a parent, as a leader, you feel happiness, right? As a teacher, as a leader, as a parent, you feel excitement. Labi na pag dugay na mo, wala nagkita. As a teacher, as a parent, as a leader, you feel proud. Kay nakauban nimo sila before. So question number 2, what kind of people do you hope they will be? As a teacher, as a parent, as a leader, what kind of people do you hope na unsa sila? As a teacher, you are hoping that your students are buutan and courteous. As a parent, you are hoping that your children will become responsible and independent. As a leader, you are hoping that your colleagues, your people are promoted and are confident and marunong makisama. So number 3, what do you hope they will have accomplished? So as a parent, as a teacher, as a leader, unsa imong hope na ilahang na-achieve sa ilahang life? As a teacher, you are hoping that your students finish their education, right? As a parent, you are hoping that your children will achieve their dreams. As a leader, you are hoping that your colleagues, your people will be promoted. Question number 4. What kinds of relationship do you hope people have? So as a teacher, as a parent, as a leader, you are hoping that their relationship will be happy, that their relationship would be trusting. You are hoping that their relationship would be respectful, or you are hoping as a teacher, as a parent, as a leader that their relationship is non-violent. Number 5, how do you hope they will feel about you? Unsa kaya imuhang paglaom na imuhang una-una na unsa kaya imuhang hope na ilahang ma-feel about sa imuha? So, as a teacher, you are hoping na unta ang akong mga estudyante na remember ko as buutan na teacher. Unta as a parent na ma-remember ang akong mga anak as supportive parents. As leader, unta ang akong mga employees, akong mga colleagues, na-remember nila sa ako as nagahatag og positive sa ilahang kinabuhi. So these questions from 1 to 5 are called long-term goals. Long-term goals are those lasting impacts that we want to have to our child or to our student or to our colleagues in their adult lives. So as teachers, as parents, as leaders, we are not always able to witness our students' development, our children's development, our colleagues' development, but each of us has an impact on their adult lives. As we teachers, as we parents, as we leaders are in the position not only to impart academic knowledge, but also to equip our students, to equip our children, to equip our colleagues with self-image, motivation, and social skills they will need for a successful and happy life. We as teachers, we as leaders, we as parents are not conscious of these long-term goals. Why? It's because we as teachers have many facts to teach in the classroom, have many projects to check. We as parents have many things to do, have many things to achieve. As leaders, has are not conscious of long-term goals because as leaders they have many things to do, to achieve, to complete, especially in work related. But the ultimate goal of education is to prepare our students for success in their adult lives. In preamble of United Nations Convention on the Rights of the Child, children should be fully prepared to live an individual life in society and brought up in spirit of the ideals proclaimed in the United Nations and in particular in the spirit of peace, dignity, tolerance, freedom, equality, and solidarity. So it means kinahanglan andamon nato ang atong mga bata, ang atong mga estudyante sa ilang kinaugmaon nga mahimong independent sa pag-atubang sa katilingban. But the but there's a problem. Naatay problema. The problem is we as teachers, as parents, as leaders react easily to short-term stress. Example, as a teacher, nakita nimo ang imong estudyante, wala ni sulod sa classroom. And ikaw, padulong sa pikas classroom. As a teacher, you easily react to your students' behavior by nagyaw-yaw ka. Ikaw pagkaaka, manong wala ka nagsulod sa imong klase. Kapalabak ka na anak. So, as a teachers, as a human being, we tend to easily react on short-term stress. As teacher, we ask our students to complete their requirements, to complete their tasks. And then your students are not doing their works. So as a teacher, nasuko ka. So what? Unsa gibuhat sa teacher? As a teacher, telling his students na, tamad ka. Anong dili man nimo buhatan, tamad ka, papa ka. So as teachers, are you helping your students building their self-confidence? In picture 1, as a teacher, are you helping your student to teach on how to be courteous and respectful while you are doing that kind of behavior in front of him? Picture number 3. As a father, you are you are asking your child to do some household chores. And then your child is watching TV. And then nakita nimo na imong anak wala gibuhat sa imong mga sugot. So as a father, you ginabunalan nimo ay mahang anak. So as a father, as a parent, are you teaching your son to resolve conflict without violence? Picture number 4. Example number 4. You, as an employee, you ask help. You ask help from your office mate to do some research, to do some report. And then, nag-submit siya sa imuha og report. Nakita nimo ang iyahang output. As an employee, as a leader, nag-react ka kay kana na output kailangan nimo. And then the result of that output of your colleagues is dili maayo, is mali or mali-mali. So as a leader, gi-embarrass nimo siya. Mali man imong gibuhat, unsa man ka oy? So as a leader, are you helping your colleagues, your employee, your co-worker on fostering on how to love of work? We, as human beings, easily react to short-term frustration. That's normal, especially kung daghan tag ginabuhat, daghan tag apasunon, o daghan tag buhatunon. So every time we react this way, we lose an opportunity to show to our children, to show to our students, to show to our colleagues a better way and to strengthen their motivation and interest. So this is one of the challenge. The hardest challenge for us is how to handle short-term stress. So this is the greatest challenge for us human beings, is to handle our short-term stress inside the classroom, inside our home, inside the offices, inside our office. So how well do your short-term reactions lead towards long-term goals? These are your short-term reactions, and these are long-term goals. So if we stop criticizing our students, our employee, then we are helping them in building their self-esteem. If we stop slapping our children, then we are there. Then we are helping them to teach nonviolence. If we stop name calling our colleagues, if we stop name calling our students, then we are helping them building resilience. If we stop threatening to our colleagues, to our friends, to our office mates, to our students, then we are helping creating positive attitude toward learning. If we stop embarrassing them, especially in front of many people, then we are helping inspiring happy memories of school and you. So our challenge is how to handle short-term stress. by not criticizing, by not slapping, by not name calling, by not threatening, and by not embarrassing, by stop doing your short-term reactions. How can short-term goals and long-term goals meet? Unsaon pag-meet ni short-term o ni long-term goals meet? The key is to see short-term challenges as an opportunity to work towards long-term goals. So if we see short-term challenges as an opportunity for us to work toward long-term goals, this is the moment. This is our time. It's opportunity for us to student at to teach our students something important. If we see short-term challenges an opportunity for us to teach our students something like how to manage stress management, an opportunity for us to teach our students, our children, on how to handle conflict without yelling or hitting. It's an opportunity for us to teach our students on how to communicate respectfully. And it's an opportunity for us to teach our students on how to consider other people's feelings. And it is an opportunity for us to teach our students, our children, on how to achieve goals without harming others physically or emotionally. When you feel becoming frustrated, this is the signal or this is the time for us to teach our students something important. You can do all of this while fostering our students, our children, our colleagues' interest and motivation to learn and to work. How? How is it possible to foster their interest and motivation to learn while working the opportunities? Using the tools of positive discipline, warmth, and structure. So the greatest challenge for us as teachers, as leaders, as parents is to handle our short-term frustration. Because if we able to manage our short-term frustration, then we can help building our long-term goals. So if you feel frustrated, all you have to do is stop for a while and think of this as an opportunity for you to teach something that is important and that is very useful in their adult life. So this session, this is all about on how to make positive discipline put practice in our school, in our office, and in our home. So that ends our session 2 on how to make positive discipline put practice in our school. So that all ends on session 2, setting long-term goals.
Thank you very much to our Davao Oriental Division facilitator, Miss Mary Grace Iray Mercado, on the session 3, part 2, the practice of positive discipline in schools, identifying long-term goals. Well, thank you, ma'am. Let's loosen up a bit, but this time it's more on the intellectual stimulation because we are going to have a link, the link that is quite connected to the discussion of Miss Mary Grace Iray Mercado. So, Sir Josh, is the link now ready to flash on the screen for our participants in the entire Region 11? There you go. So, This is a loosen up on the intellectual stimulation through answering the kind of exercise on the link flashed on the screen. So that's it. Thank you, Ma'am Irai, our Division of Davao Oriental facilitator. So you can have that link, answer that one, please. And that is quite based on the session 3, part 2, identifying long term goals. Thank you very much. And of course, at this time, we're going to have a live facilitator at this time, right here at the Department of Education on its continuing efforts on the Regional Division Virtual Training Program on the positive discipline in everyday teaching. Wow, this is really a collaborative effort. We are having this afternoon Madam Virginia Pelino Efondo of Davao City National High School, a guidance counselor from the Division of Davao City in providing warmth and structure. Please take it away, Ma'am Efondo. Sige, mag-greet mo.
Hello,
Yes, ma'am. Go, ma'am.
good afternoon, everyone.
Okay.
I am Virgie Fondo, Guidance Counselor of Davao City National High School,
Okay.
your facilitator of this session.
Okay. Wala ko yung flash ang screen.
Asa ko siya?
Nana.
Na.
Nana. Sige.
So, here are our objectives for this topic. At the end of this session, the participants are expected to, number one, know what warmth and structure are. Two, understand the importance of warmth and structure as part of classroom discipline. Three, provide warmth and structure to students to achieve their short-term and long-term goals. So, sorry?
Ay, no, ayun lang po. Sorry. Sige, ma'am. Check ka, ma'am. Check ka. Sige, ma'am. Sige, ma'am. Check ka lang, ma'am. Wala ka naman. Sige.
So, okay, so let's go on. Warmth and structure are the tools that will help us reach our long-term goals. They need to be present together in all our interactions with all our students, not just the challenging ones. Your long-term goals are your blueprints. They keep you focused on the impact you want to have on your students. To achieve those goals, you need these two warmth and structure, I mean. Yes, not just the challenging ones, but all the students because everyone deserves this. Next, warmth teaches children to be good people who care about others. If you give warmth to children, they will do so to others in return. So what is warmth? Respect for children's developmental level. As teachers, let us always be reminded that they are children. They cannot be an adult and behave like us. They need to be taught and learned with our help. Empathy with the child's feelings. In this trying time, it is helpful if you try to ask them, how are you now? How do you feel now? Just like doing it to our own children and to our family. Expressions of caring and affection. When we feel anxious or afraid, It's hard to focus on anything but fear. We can see that happening to us as COVID pandemic worsened in our country. Imagine 7,000 plus just in one day count. If we are worried of this situation, much more with our children, it is much harder for them. Emotional security means showing or ensuring them they are safe, loved, listened to, and understood. The world outside has suddenly become a frightening place. The world inside needs the security that they need to grow and succeed. So this time, we will have an exercise. You need ball pen and paper now. You're going to write only the item number at the letter of your chosen answer, either letter A or letter B. I'll read each item to you now. 1. This is to understand why warmth is such an important part of school discipline. Imagine that you are learning a new language. Number 1, will you learn better if your teacher A tells you what you are doing right or B tells you only what you are doing wrong? Will you learn better if you feel A safe with your teacher or B afraid that she will hit you if you make mistake? Number 3, you will learn better if you think A, your teacher will stay with you and support you no matter how many mistakes you make, or B, he will storm out at the room in anger when you make errors. Number 4, will you want to please a teacher who is A, kind and understanding, or B, yells at embarrassing and criticizes you? Number 5, will you want to learn other languages if your teacher A tells you how capable you are, or B tells you that you're stupid? And number 6, will you want to tell your teacher when you're having problems if you expect A, you will listen and help, or he will get angry and punish you? I'm giving you 2 minutes to cast your answers to the chat box now.
Script ni ma'am.
Hmm.
Ano lang nito? Kita mo yung script ma'am.
Stop sharing sa anak ko, ma'am. Kadali lang.
Okay, thank you very much. This is really a technical glitch at this time. Also, we would like to ask, ma'am, to please mute your microphone, and I will be telling this. Agnes, pakiaras. Okay. This is a technical glitch that we are experiencing at this time because Ma'am Ifondo is going live. Nevertheless, she experiences technical glitch on maneuvering on her presentation. Okay, so we're good now, ma'am. Thank you, Ma'am Agnes Agsagat, for assisting Miss Ifondo on her presentation at this time. Thank you, Ma'am Agnes. Okay, so you know what? To the entire Department of Education, Region 11, in as much as we would love to deliver the kind of good and quality results that we are going to have on the positive discipline in everyday teaching, however, in the advent of technology, especially so in the online technology, we really experience, if not often times, okay, so we experience really technical glitch at this time. Okay, so we'd like to check and once again remind our Department of Education Region 11 participants the link of an exercise of Miss Eray Mercado on the identifying such long-term goals to please check the one out. So that's loosen up a bit through your intellectual stimulation. Okay, so that's it. So actually, this is our second, and now we're heading on the third. So let me check if our third presenter is ready because we cannot wait of having such on the positive discipline in everyday teaching. Wow, we talk about this and everyone supposedly going live today. But this is it. This is really the advent of technology. If you go live, connectivity should be ensured that everything is always set on that. Okay? So, yes, Ma'am Agnes, no? Di ba, Ma'am Agnes, ganyan talaga. Ma'am Agnes A. Sagsagat is with me right now helping out for the online uh, technicality of our show. Okay, so Sir Josh, please flash back on screen our registration this afternoon. So with our link for our exercise. Okay, so we're ready, Sir Joffrey, who's at the same time working with PDET, and of course, Chief Lorna F. Mapinogos, the top management official of the HRDD, our Chief Lorna F. Mapinogos. So there you go with the link exercise, identifying long-term goal with Miss Mary Grace Iray Mercado. Okay, so we're all set with our second presenter. Okay, so we have our providing warmth and structure, Madam Virginia Pilonio Efondo, Guidance Counselor of the Davao City National High School.
Okay. So, we're set now. Actually, kanina lang yung time is up. Huh? So, We are now through with our exercise. So I think most of your answers are letter A. Why? Because all letter A's are stating positive, kind, and caring action or reactions of students, of teacher to each given situation. So which we like, and I also like, and we feel good on it, and that's what warm is. Okay? So next slide. Why is warmth important? One, this encourages short-term cooperation and teaches long-term values. The key to children's sense of security and establish relationships between child and adult. So what are the long-term values that we want our students to have? To become confident, kind, motivated, responsible, and non-violent people, right? So students feel secured and learn best and will cooperate more in a warm, safe, and caring environment. Because of that, there will be good relationships established between the student and the teacher. And this supports students academically, emotionally, and behaviorally. Diba? So next slides. In this illustration, we can see gears. It's like the machine inside our watches. This composes three gears that are connected to each other. When one rolls, the others also roll. This will help us understand how this warmth moves or affects our students' behavior. So in a classroom without warmth, the student have anxiety, right? Have you seen it on the screen? Without warmth, students becomes anxious because there is anxiety. So they divert their energy to manage their anxiety instead of listening to the lesson of the teacher. And the lesson taught is not attended to and cannot be remembered. And so the other gear, that is the academic difficulties, will come in. Now, there will be academic failure and there will be another anxiety comes. Now, there will be more anxiety that will come. It's because when the student failed on their particular subject, then they will have problem with their parents. They will have fear na baka mapagalitan sila ng kanilang parents when they got home. And there will be learning problems. Okay, next slides. Slide. As this process continues, the student becomes more anxious, no? Restless and fidgety, and there will come a problem student. As this process continues, the student becomes more anxious, restless, and fidgety. The problem student and become problem student. When the teacher punishes this behavior, the student anxiety increases, leads to distractibility, which compounds their inattention, restlessness, and fidgety or nervous, transferring seats or keeping going out of the classroom. Di ba may mga estudyante kayo na ganun? Hindi sila mapakali, laging nagta-transfer ng seats. And then towards having behavior problems like irritable, and then he becomes your problem student. Pagka napagalitan ng teacher, lalo na if this is in front with their classmates, no? And even in our situation now sa ating setting, sa inyong GCs, dapat hindi talaga pwedeng magpuna ng estudyante ng negative sa inyong mga GCs or group chats. Okay, with the presence of other classmates. Now, I remember a student before before referred to me by the advisor because very irritable. He was a boy, madaling magalit. He was in grade 1. Na mag-usap kami, nag-background check na ako about his family, and then when I asked about his mother, nagsimula na siyang umiyak. Tapos sabi niya, habang umiiyak, sabi niya, ang mama ko biglang nawala, hindi ko alam kung saan napunta, saan na siya ngayon. Sabi ng lolo ko, naglayas daw yung mother ko. Pero alam ko, hindi. Pero wala siya sa bahay. Kasi ang alam ko, takot siya sa aking tatay. Alam mo ma'am, dito na naman, nagsimula siyang magalit. Yung kanyang mukha talagang galit na galit. Pati yung kanyang mga mata nanlilisik. Maalala ko pa talaga yung kanyang mukha that time. Tapos habang umiiyak, galit, no? Tapos sabi niya, alam mo ma'am, pag ang gusto kong maging paglaki ko, maging sundalo. Kasi gusto kong magkaroon ng baril. Dahil yung tatay ko, sundalo rin siya, may baril siya. Kaya kaming lahat takot sa kanya sa bahay. So you see, that is how children affected by anxiety. May it be inside the classroom or from their homes. Next slides. So, when there is security, students feel safe, loved, and listened to, understood, and secured. So, in a warm classroom, students are more likely to be, because there is security, they will feel safe, loved, listened to, understood, and secured. And then, this will bring focus to their attention and then a good memory. And they will feel relaxed and attentive, less destructive and restless. And there will be fewer behavior problems. The children here could focus more on their subjects and they can focus on listening to their teacher. That's why they can remember all the things that the teacher is telling them, right? So, there will be learning motivation, positive feelings in the classroom, inside the classroom. They like to go to their classroom. They want to go to the school. Hindi na sila laging uma-absent. And they will become cooperative, confident. This time, mga ating mga estudyante, kapag ka-safe ang environment, they will become very much confident. Kahit kung meron silang hindi naintindihan, magtatanong na sila. Hindi katulad noon na parang lagi silang wala sa loob ng classroom kasi tahimik na tahimik. O kung hindi naman tahimik, ang ingay-ingay, no? At saka very destructive. Now, and they will have love of learning because they are being listened to. Okay, and they know that they are safe inside your classroom. Okay. So next slide. So some ways that teachers create a warm classroom climate. Getting to know your students as people and where they are from. As teachers, we must know our students individually as to where they from, their family background, how many are they in the family, their parents' works, and what kind of environment are they in, to be informed about them, right? It is our obligation, especially as an advisor. Okay. Next, we have to tell them it's when they have problems, when we found out that they have difficulty, we have to tell them it's okay. I am with you. You can make it. And appreciating efforts make sense to them. Tayo nga masaya kung i-appreciate, ganun din sila. 'Di ba? So ano man lang ba yung sabihin natin na gusto ko yung ginawa mo kanina. Ang galing mo kanina. Mga ganun na salita na talagang makaka-encourage sa kanila. Okay. Next slides, please. Next slides. Yes. Next slides pa, sir. Tapos na yan kanina. Okay. Some ways that teachers create in a classroom climate. Telling them that you believe in them. Saying, maganda yung idea mo. Ipatuloy mo yun. Diba? Ang dali lang namang yung mga salitang ganun na nakakatulong sa kanila. Okay, looking at things from their point of view, not from our point of view as an adult. Okay, sharing humor and having fun with them. Yes, you have to share jokes and laugh with them. Okay, showing them that they are respected even when they make mistakes. It doesn't make them less a person to have mistake. Diba? Kasi normal lang yung magkakamali. Gaya natin. Okay. Now, I remember my daughter when she was in grade 2. Okay. Pag uwi niya ng bahay, dala-dala niya yung kanyang examination paper na binalik na ng kanilang teacher. Tapos sabi niya, Mama, andito na yung aking examination result. Sa isang subject, nakita ko pagtingin ko, hala, ako na shock kasi more than 5 mistakes. I used to have to see their results na less than 5 mistakes lang, not more than 5 mistakes. So sabi ko, hala, bakit ganito, gang? Ang dami ng mali. Ang sagot niya sa akin, di ba sabi mo ma, okay lang magkamali? Eh, so sabi ko naman sa kanya, oo nga, okay lang magkamali. Dahil, ano yun? Sabi niya, kasi doon tayo magbabago. Doon natin makikita yung ating mali at saka next time, mas pagigihan ko na. Yun yung kanyang sabi. So, that's it. Diba? Basta alam lang ng estudyante kung ano yung alam niya na talagang tanggap siya sa kanyang teacher, sa kanyang classroom. Now, next slides. This time, we will be having another exercise, creating a warm classroom climate. So you have to list 5 ways that you create a climate of warmth in your classroom. And then, you have to do this activity because you'll be needing this in your next sessions. I will give you 2 minutes again to make the list. You may cast your answers to the chat box now. Okay? So I guess time is up. You have, by the way, you have to write all your answers on a sheet of paper so that on the next sessions, you will have it. So we will now go on to the other tool, which is tool of positive discipline, which is providing structure. So providing clear information. Structure is the information students need in order to succeed academically and behaviorally. It gives students the tool they need to solve problems and work out conflicts and succeed academically. Okay, providing clear information, a guide that helps students behave well and succeed academically. Next slide, please. So what is structure? So it is a clear guide for behavior and for academic tasks. So this means giving clear information and explanation to our student to help them learn and succeed. Sometimes problems are the result of our own unclear communication. So most importantly, teachers need to clearly communicate goals and reasonable expectations from the moment students enter their classroom on the next day of school. Okay, next, establish rule discussed and processed by students with your guidance anchored by the child rights and Rapid Order number 40, Series 2012. Then, encourage them to speak up. Give ideas by explaining why it is not acceptable to let them realize what is wrong. Do not automatically barge in or thrust ahead into their ideas. Let them find ways about their plans. Okay. Do not listen to their explanation and train them to negotiate, solving conflict in a non-violent way. So they have to understand how to do negotiation, how to bargain, how to have an agreement, than just boxing their classmate or their co-workers or um, group mates. Okay. So listen to the explanation and train them to negotiate. Next slides. This time we'll be having another exercise of why is structure important. Okay, again, to understand why structure is such an important part of classroom discipline, imagine again that you are learning a new language. Okay, and then you're going to write only the item number and the letter of your chosen answer, either A or B. You have to read each item now and you choose your answer. I'm giving you 2 minutes again to cast your answers to the chat box now. Okay, time is up. I like seeing your answers. And I've seen it that most of your answers or all of you answers letter A for all items. Okay, then let's find out why. Because all letter A's are stating a positive, considerate, and diplomatic action or reaction of the teacher to each given situation, which you like best and we will feel good on it. Diba? Okay, that's the importance of structure. Next slide, please. So why is structure important? It is because, like warmth, structure affects students academically, emotionally, and behaviorally. Structure is the information that students need in order to succeed academically and behaviorally. It gives students the tools they need to solve problems when you are not present. Structure shows students how to work out conflicts with other people in a constructive, non-violent way. And it helps them learn what is important. It helps students understand mistakes and fix it. Because they receive the instructions clearly, they feel confident and sure what they're doing. 'Di ba? Pag tayo alam natin ang ating gagawin, naka-stipulate talaga doon sa ating ano, sinabi ng mabuti, then we are happy doing it. Diba? And then they can explain well their side because they understand the reasons of their saying no. Alam na nila magsabi ng no kung kailan at alam nila yung paano sasabihin yung rason because they know how to negotiate. Diba? They know how to explain their side. And then they know how to prioritize things from the most important one to the lesser one. Kapag meron silang mga assignment sa bahay, alam na nila kung kailan, anong oras gagawin at ano yung kanilang uunahin. And then number 4, they can accept wrong deeds and knows the consequence of what they did. Okay. Next slide, please. So providing structure, here it is again, the illustration is given through the gears that are in relation with each other. So without proper communication or poor explanation results to poor self-image, poor insight, and poor academic performance. So if the classroom lacks structure, students lack information also. Okay. And they tend to fail because they don't know how to do it, right? And then they start to see themselves as stupid pagka talagang lumiit na yung kanilang mga grado, di kaya nabagsak na sila. And lose their interest and motivation. Next slides. More so, they begin to resent the teacher for not providing the information they need. A. And students are likely to lose interest and dislike the subject being taught by that particular teacher because ang kanilang resentment now is to the teacher. Hindi lang sa kanilang sarili, kundi nagagalit na rin sila sa kanilang teacher. Ito na yung mga panahon na sasabihin nila, "Musa man si teacher, ay way klaro." No? So, they do not want to attend to your class. And these are the times also na mostly sasabihin ng mga teachers, mga advice or subject teachers na pagka sa ako ang klase ba dili na siya musulod, ambot anang bataa, no? Okay. You find out the reason why. Then moving on, the next slides. Okay. In a structured classroom, it looks like this. Students are given clear information and proper guidance. And when they know what is expected of them and information are well explained, they become less confused. They become confident, have positive self-image, and become successful. Okay. So, providing structure. Some ways the teacher provides structure for their students, involving students in setting rules for classroom. As I have said earlier, it is good to set up rules in the class with students' participation so that they themselves know and understand it. It should be with your caring and guidance, anchored by the Children's Rights and DepEd Order number 40 Series 2012. And then next is be consistent. Consistency matters much because inconsistency makes them confused and untrustful. And then threats and punishment, especially with the presence of other classmates, ignites resentments and uncontrollable anger. Next, I will just read it to you. The ways explaining their point of view and listening to their students' point of view, teaching them about the effects of their actions on other people, and giving them the information they need to make good decisions, taking with them and learning about the challenges in their lives, and acting as a possible role model and guide to your students. So we will now go to another exercise. Again, because this will help you in your next session. Okay. So you have to make 5 lists of ways that you create a climate of climate of uh, structure, I, that you will create a warm, a structured classroom. Okay. List 5 ways to create a structured classroom. Sorry, mali yung ano. Okay. And you have to list it and then keep it for the next session. Then, to sum it up, providing warmth and structure. Next slides, please. Sir, next slide. Naputol na po siya. Okay, now positive discipline combines warmth and structure. These help teachers meet their short-term goals while having a positive lifelong impact on the students. It's a way of teaching them how to solve problems, think of themselves, get along with others, resolve conflict without violence, and it's the way of teaching them It's the way of teaching them how to do the right thing when no adults are present. Increase interest in learning, achieve academic success, inspiring happy memories of school and self. Di ba masarap isipin na pag malaki na yung ating mga estudyante, babalik sila sa ating school. Tapos hahanapin tayo at sasabihin na, Ma'am, ikaw talaga yung isa sa mga inspiration ko na maging ganito ako. Okay. Right? So remember, the aim of education is to prepare students for success in their adult lives. We can turn short-term term challenges into opportunities to work towards our long-term goals by teaching children how to manage stress, respect themselves and others, and be successful learners. Because positive discipline is based on the idea that children are constantly changing, growing, and developing. They are learners and learn best when they have support and information, which is warm and structure. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. Please, Ma'am Agnes, assist our facilitator for the presentation today. Thank you, Ma'am Agnes. You have been so kind helping me here out. So we're back live and alive. That's really the beauty of the online and the technology that we're bringing for on the positive discipline in everyday teaching, PDET, Regional Division Virtual Program of Madam Virginia Pelinio Efondo in providing warmth and structure. Daghang salamat kaayo Ma'am Agnes Sagsagat. Okay, so that's our facilitator, second facilitator this afternoon. And of course, at this time, we're moving on. It's understanding child development, early development, and why it matters. Ladies and gentlemen, still from the division of Davao City, Madam Eliza Mioles Suarez, a guidance counselor of F. Bangoy National High School, Division of Davao City.
Good morning, everyone. Naway na sa mabuti kayong kalagayan sa araw na ito kahit nasa panahon tayo ng pandemya. My topic for today is all about understanding child development, the middle age grades 9 to 12 years old and later grades 13 to 18 years old. Weighty responsibilities rest upon the parents and teachers to guide carefully the future happiness and interest of their children. Ramdam niyo ba ang malaking hamon na nakaatang sa ating mga balikat? The work of educating and training the children and youth is very important and sacred responsibility ever committed to teachers, parents, leaders, and educators. Why? It has been said that when a doctor fails to rightly diagnose his patient, 6 feet below the ground ang mangyayari sa pasyente. When a lawyer failed to defend his clients, conviction and imprisonment ang mangyayari sa kanyang kliyente. But when we failed, it means untold miseries in the home, many broken lives, and rebellion in society. Children's attitudes towards school and learning have been largely formed by the time they enter the middle school years. If their teachers and caregivers have interacted with them in a way that respects their developmental levels, engage them in learning, and provide adequate opportunities for discovery, they are likely to have maintained the interest in learning. With this stage come new opportunities and new challenges. Children are not able to solve problems mentally, so their mathematical abilities progress quickly. They also become able to think about their own thinking. This means that they can reflect on how they learn, assess their strategies, and try out new ones. Become increasingly focused on peer relationships. They form close friendship and can experience intense conflict. In this stage, teachers need to create learning climate that foster both academic and social confidence. Threats to children's confidence in senior elementary and primary school. During this stage, teachers have the challenge of building confidence in students who are facing daily threats to their self-esteem. These threats arise from their development in the physical, emotional, and social domain. First, we're going to take first the physical domain. Children's bodies change dramatically during this stage. Some will develop strength and athletic skills, participate in sports, and feel confident in their physical abilities. Others will grow more slowly or be physically awkward or weaker than their peers. Others will grow taller or gain more weight than their classmates. It means that on the stage, gradual changes may happen. May mga pagbabagong nagaganap sa kanilang pangangatawan. Toward the end of the stage, children may experience a major physical transformation. They will enter puberty. Their bodies will begin to take on their adult forms of secondary sex characteristics appear, and the difference between the boys and the girls will become more obvious. Sa mga lalaki, nagkakaroon sila ng Adam's apple. May mga pagbabago sa timbre ng kanilang mga boses. Nagkakaroon sila ng balahibo sa kilikili. Ganon din ng mga babae. Nagkakaroon din sila ng buwan ng dalaw. Throughout this stage, children become increasingly aware of their bodies and those of their peers. If they feel indifferent or different from others, they can become self-conscious. If their peers or teachers tease them, their confidence can be shattered. Bilang guro, kailangan natin maging sensitibo. Ipaalam natin sa kanila na ang mga pagbabagong nagaganap sa kanilang mga sarili ay normal lamang sa kanilang mga edad. Second is the emotional domain. The onset of puberty is under control, the hormones released in the brain. As puberty approaches, these hormones produce not only physical changes, but also emotional as one. At this time, and their development, children can become moody, irritable, and prone to tears. They can be highly sensitive and easily embarrassed. They might react intensely to an incident that seems minor to us as teacher. They might be inseparable also from a best friend one day and reject that same friend next day. They might feel confident in their abilities one day and feel completely inadequate next day. Bilang guro, dapat gabayan natin sila lalong-lalo na sa panahon ng kanilang kalungkutan. We must show them our empathy. We're going to guide them through the interference. Keep the communication always open to them. Let the child express his or her opinions, feelings, ideas, and beliefs without interrupting them. Active listening, one of part of the teachers or parents, can boost their confidence or strengthen the bond between student and teacher. Halimbawa, may mapagkakataon na papagalitan natin sila sa harap ng kanilang kaklase o kaibigan. I'm sure o siguradong nagkikimkim sila ng galit sa atin, kahit na ang kagustuhan natin ay maituwid ang kanilang pagkakamali. Halimbawa, based on my experience sa aking mga anak, may pagkakataon na sila nagkakamali. Ang ginagawa ko po ay dinadala ko sila sa aming kwarto at doon ko sila kinakausap. Pero bago mangyari ang interogasyon sa aming dalawa, nag-uumpisa muna kami sa prayer. Pray muna kami bago namin napag-usapan o pag-uusapan ang kaniyang mga pagkakamali. Tinatanong ko siya kung bakit niya ginawa yun. Kinakausap ko rin siya bilang ina. Hindi ko siya pinapagalitan. At bakit niya ginagawa ito, at minsan din ilalabas niya kung ano ang nasa kanyang saloobin. Kasi on that time, hindi ako nagagalit sa kanya. In this way, you are building emotional stability. Third is the social domain. The dramatic physical and emotional changes of this stage bring about equally dramatic changes in children's social relationship. This can be a time of confusion and uncertainty about friendships. Power relationships emerge among students. Bullying is common at this stage. Bullies aim to intimidate and humiliate students who lack confidence. Their effects on their victims are very profound. Children who are bullied become fearful of going to school. They don't tell anyone for fear of retaliation by the bully. In the classroom, their attention is continuously diverted to worrying about what the bully will do next and how they will keep themselves safe. The school needs to develop strong anti-bullying policies. Children need to gain confidence in their abilities to handle their conflicts, emotions without hurting others physically and emotionally. May pagkakataon na binubuli sila sa kanilang panlabas na anyo. Sa inyong palagay, paano kaya natin ito masolusyonan? Tama. One of the solution is we adults should not be a model of bullying. We should inculcate in their young minds that bullying can hurt someone's feeling. Bear in mind that punishment of this typical behavior may undermine the child's confidence and decrease their motivation to learn. Reduces bullying, increases confidence to learn. How can teachers promote students' confidence? There are many ways in which teachers can build students' confidence in this stage. Remember your tool, the warmth and then the structure. How can you provide warmth? Create a physical and emotional secure environment. Provide and support when they have difficulties. Resist criticizing or punishing mistakes. Never embarrass or humiliate them. Hasty speech will only increase bad feelings. Be considerate at all times. Kahit nagagalit ka na, be considerate pa rin. Be kind, be patient to hear their point of view. Consider your students' developmental level. Understand the importance of the social relationships. Be aware of children who are bullied or socially rejected. Give them support and guidance in a way that protects their privacy. Give them abundant support and encouragement. Model and encourage empathy for sensitive students. Maintain communication with your students' caregivers. Get to know your students' families. Understand their home stresses. Encourage parents and other caregivers to visit your classroom. Volunteer in the school and participate in special events. Work with partnership with parents and resolving difficulties. There should be a teacher and parent harmonious relationship. Be sensitive at all times. How can teacher promote students' confidence? Second is provide structure. Let your students know what they are doing well. Recognize their efforts even if the outcome is not perfect. Appreciate their works. Be positive in giving feedbacks. Halimbawa, may ginagawa silang project, tapos nakita mong pangit ang pagkagawa nila. As teacher, pwede natin sabihin na maganda ang gawa mo, pero sa susunod mong gawin ito, mas lalo mo pa itong pagandahan. In that way, magkakaroon sila ng tiwala sa kanilang sarili. Another is base experience sa school. Yung teacher sa music, nagpakanta siya sa mga bata, tinuturuan niya yung mga batang kumanta, and then may nakita siyang bata talaga na hindi talaga makakuha yung tono ng kanta. Ang ginawa niya, pinababa niya yung bata sa stage. Alam niyo ba kung anong ginawa ng bata? Pumunta siya sa likod ng CR at nag-iiyak. At that time, na-build kaya natin ang confidence ng bata? Baka isa tayo bilang guro ang nagpapababa ng confidence ng mga bata. Help your students figure out the reason for their difficulties. Help them to reflect on their learning strategies. Find more effective one. Set a good example for them. Address their social challenges. Be aware of conflicts among your students. Solve the conflicts in a way that teaches self-respect and respect for others. Engage their interest. Encourage them to set their goals for the future. Find ways to integrate their interest into projects and assignments. Nurture their expanding interest. Respecting child's viewpoint, his attitudes, and his way of looking at things in life, his outlook, his interest, his likes and dislikes. Ensure that after-school activities are provided in the school and community. Keep students busy before and after school to prevent bullying and foster skill building. Organize clubs and themes. Encourage your students to participate based on their common interest. Give only one or two assignments so that they can take part in other activities at home. Now let's proceed to the latter grades, ages 13 to 18 years old. Adolescents at a time of remarkable transformation. Youth are crossing the bridge from childhood to adulthood, an amazing change seen in all areas of their development. 13 to 18 years old said to be age of inspiration. This age group has a strong need for appreciation. May kasabihan tayo na when I do good, no one remembers. But when I do bad, no one forgets. We have to appreciate them always. We should praise them in public and reprimand in private. Praise them for doing right. Train them when they wrong. We have some areas of development. First, the cognitive development. Youth are able to think hypothetically. They can approach problems scientifically, proposing hypotheses and testing them systematically. This ability makes it possible for them to understand scientific laws and invent new solutions to problems. They gain new insights that led them to question the status quo, help them to fight the battles of life. Thus, cognitive development refers to the mental action or process of acquiring knowledge and understanding through the thought, experience, and senses. They might question adult ways of thinking. This is not a sign of disrespect, but a sign that they're able to think for themselves and figure out what they value and believe. It is important to provide them an honest information about their physical and emotional aspects of sexuality. Be open-minded. Minsan, nagagalit tayo pag sinasagot-sagot tayo ng mga bata. Pero hindi natin alam na mayroon din pala tayong mga pagkakamali. 'Di ba? Naranasan niyo rin ba ito? May isang batang nagsasabi sa akin na advance daw mag-isip ang kanyang parents. Wala pa gani daw na pusa ang itlog, giihap na. Second is the physical development. Puberty is completed in this stage. They have new and intense sexual feelings. This time, girls are capable of childbearing, and boys are capable of fathering children. It is important to provide them an honest information about their physical and emotional aspects of sexuality. There should be an intense guidance during these stage. Ipaliwanag natin sa kanila kung ano ang mga kinahinatnan kung hindi nila mapipigilan ang kanilang mga emosyon. Adolescents are also undergoing an important period of brain development. Their brain cells are being pruned, which means that unused brain cells connections will be destroyed to increase the brain's efficiency. This process takes years, beginning at the back of the brain and ending at the front of the brain. Youth have difficulty seeing the consequences of their actions. They tend to act impulsively without thinking things through. They might do things that are risky, not considering that long-term outcome of their actions. As teacher, palagi nating ipatindi sa kanila na huli na ang pagsisisi. Now let's move on to social development. They have their strong sense of identity. They have their strong needs to belong and to be independent at the same time. They try on adults' rules and experiments with things that have forbidden. Much of their energy is devoted to figuring out who they are and how they are different from their parents and teachers. They try on various identities to see which ones fit to them. Halimbawa, pagpapakulay ng kanilang buhok, ginagaya nila ang kanilang mga iniidolong mga artista. Minsan, nagpapalagay sila ng mga tattoo. Tapos, sa mga lalaki, naglalagay ng mga hikaw sa kanilang tenga o di kaya'y sa ilong. Tapos, nagsusuot ng mga damit na kadalasan ay ayaw ng mga nakakatanda. They might experiment with drugs, alcohol, sex, and relationships. They want to do the things they see adults do, including things that can harm them. As teacher, be sensitive, have a table conversation, be kind and pleasant as you speak to your children. Guide them and tell them the advantages and disadvantages sa kanilang mga ginagawa. What can teacher do to help students navigate this stage successfully? Go back to your tools, the warmth, and then the structure. First, you're going to provide warmth. Show respect for abilities. Provide respectful support and guidance rather than punishment and criticism. Guide their identity development in a constructive direction. Help them develop their identities based on their strength and their abilities. Consider your students' developmental level. Understand their powerful need to belong. Recognize the importance of their peer groups. Remember that their brains are still developing. They might not understand the full implication of their decisions. Be kind always to them. Let only pleasant words be spoken. As what the Bible says in Ephesians 6:4, parents, provoke not your children to wrath, but nurture them in the chastening and admonition of the Lord. Provide structure. Guide your students through their challenges. Make school interesting. Help them foresee the consequences of their action. Guide students away from negative peer influences. Provide opportunities for positive peer interaction. based on a common interest. Engage them in different activities in school. Now, kung may mga bata bang pasaway, who is to blame? Who is responsible? Tama ba ang paggabay natin sa ating mga mag-aaral? Take note, it's not about our position. The lesson we taught to them. They remembered us, but it's about how we deal with them. Now, we cannot deny the fact that there are possible challenges that may occur during this time of pandemic. One of those is loss of social connection with their peer group. Romantic relationship can be a source of resentment and resistance to or violation of restrictions. The strong belief that nothing bad can happen to them or that they won't get sick if they go out during this time. Disagreement with parents and conflict over misinformation during circulation over the internet. Punishment and upheaval in the home or in school can reduce motivation to continue education. Hindi talaga natin maiwasan na may mga batang pasaway, maingay sa loob ng klase, sa loob ng silid-aralan. May mga bagay na ginagawa lang nila para kunin ang ating atensyon. Sa ganitong paraan, ipinapakita nila para lang mapansin. Bilang isang guro, ipapakita mo sa kanila na ikaw ay hindi lang guro. Bakit sila nagpapasaway sa klase? Kung bakit ganun ang kanilang ipinapakitang ugali. Haplos sa balikat at haplos sa ulo ang palagi kong ginagawa. Hinahayaan ko silang magsasalita ukol sa kanilang sariling karanasan. May mga time pa nga na pati ikaw guro, mapapaiyak sa kanilang karanasan. Effective talaga na kausapin mo ang mga bata na mag-isa kaysa pagalitan mo sa buong klase. Then the next day, magtaka ka na lang na iba na ang kanilang ikinikilos sa loob at sa labas ng klase. Be a teacher and a parent to your children. This time, I am going to present some scenarios that might happen during this pandemic. I will allocate 3 minutes for each scenario to have your answer in your chat box. First scenario is, you notice your grade 3 male learner has drawn doodles on his submitted worksheet instead of completing the assigned work. If you were to assume the point of view of the learner, would you be the developmental reasons for doodling on this worksheet instead of completing the assigned work? Now, assume the point of view of the teacher. Knowing the child's point of view, what will you say to him to provide warmth? I'll give you 3 minutes to answer this. thank you so much for all your answers. For our next scenario, we have while having your home visitation, you have noticed your grade 7 female learner call her neighbor, a few learner passing by, a derogatory name because of her well-developed breast and short skirt. If you were to assume the point of view of the learner, what would be the developmental reasons for calling someone a derogatory name? Now, assume the point of view of the teacher. Knowing the child's point of view, what will you say to provide warmth? I'll give you 3 minutes also to answer in our chat box. Thank you so much for the positive response. Then, we have our last scenario. You overheard your grade 11 male student planning to skip his math online class to join his friends to play online computer games instead. If you were to assume the point of view of the pupil, what would be the typical reason for skipping class and playing computer instead? Now, assume the point of view of the teacher. Knowing the child's point of view, what will you say or do to provide warmth? Okay, I'll give you another 3 minutes to answer this situation. Please write your answer in our chat box. Thank you so much for participating. To be effective teachers, we need to know our learners' abilities at different ages. Understand that some learners might not have experience or information they need to succeed. Reflect on what we could do differently to help them learn. Recognize that our learners' perspectives might be different from ours. Understand on our contribution to conflict with learners. Understand also the struggles that adolescents face. Recognize the adolescents' need for greater independence. Provide information and helping them to go through problem-solving process. Teachers have the opportunity to establish good relationships and habits that can lead the long-term goal for their learners. Typical development characteristics of children are often the source of conflict and are misinterpreted as bad behavior. Providing warmth, such as empathy or considering the child points of view, allow teachers to understand the children's situation and help them provide the appropriate structure to respond to the child's immediate needs. When we understand how children think and feel at different ages, we recognize children's rights too. Let's go back of the Children's Protection Act that states protection from all forms of physical and mental violence in Article 19. It states that addresses violence against children. It emphasizes that state parties must have proper laws in place to prohibit violence, but it also requires states to implement administrative, social, and educational measures to protect children. All forms of violence, both physical and mental, fall under this Article 19. An opinion and for this to be considered seriously in Article 12. Let's go back again of the Child Protection Act that states the convention is particularly important as it requires state parties to the UNCRC to guarantee to all children capable of forming their own views the right to express their views freely in all matters affecting them. Other articles of the UNCRC also guarantee participatory rights. Number 3 is education that respects their dignity in Article 28 of the UNCRC says that children and young people have the right to education no matter who they are, regardless of race, gender, or disability, if they are in detention or if they are a refugee. Children and young people have the right to both primary and secondary education and should be able to choose different subjects when secondary school. This should include the option of technical and vocational training, so they shouldn't have to focus on academic subjects if they don't want to. 4. Play in Article 31. The right for children to have rest and leisure, to engage in play and recreational activities, and to participate in cultural life and the arts. Batay dito, ma-enjoy nila ang kanilang karapatan bilang isang bata, na kung saan, paglaki nila, hindi nila ito makakalimutan, lalong-lalo na ang mga masasayang araw sa kanilang pag-aaral mula sa elementarya hanggang sa high school. Bilang isang guro o pumapangalawang mga magulang para sa mga mag-aaral, nakasalalay sa ating mga kamay ang magandang kinabukasan ng ating mag-aaral.
Before I end, I want to share with you the sayings. A child who lives in sharing learns to be considerate. A child who lives with affection learns love. A child
who lives with encouragement learns confidence. According to the book of Proverbs 22, verse 6, train up a child in the way he should go, and when he is old, he will not depart from it. And bear in mind that children are the only earthly possession we can take with us to heaven, according to Lewis Grisan. Once again, good morning and have a blessed day to all of you. Thank you.
Okay, I'm back live once again right here in our regional positive discipline and everyday teaching. Wow, this is really the advent of technology where one really experiences technological mishaps, malfunction, and of course, all our technical glitches that we are experiencing right here at the Department of Education, Region 11. But we will never be hampered. No one can really stop us giving you the kind of webinar series on the regional division virtual training program. That's the understanding child development. All those coming from, we have from the division of Davao Oriental. A while back, you saw Ma'am Telma explaining. And of course, remaining or the succeeding tasks will be from the division of Davao City. And that's Ma'am Eliza Suarez. No, no, no. Yes, ma'am. Okay, thank you so much, ma'am. Yeah. From the division of Davao City, Madam Eliza Suarez, and a while back, we have from the division of Davao Oriental, that was Ma'am Thelma. Okay, thank you very much because that's actually two series as what I was explaining few seconds back because the understanding of the child development comes into two series and we have a while back Davao Oriental, and tomorrow for the Davao City. I really hope I got myself very clear at this time. Okay, so we'll be having now our open forum. Okay, is my thought clear? I hope it's clear. Okay, so we'll have our open forum. Bring us with the discussions of relevant issues. We'll have our issues, concerns. This is the time for our open forum platform. And thank you so much, Miss Agnes A. Sagsaga, for being with us the whole day through and even for the first, the second, and the third batches. And now we'll have on screen today our Chief of the Human Resource Development Division, Chief Lorna F. Mapinogos, and at the same time, our facilitator in our first session today, we have Dr. Jeffrey L. Bernabe and yours truly. I am also a facilitator at the same time. And we have Dr. Isidra Bidesky and Ma'am Jonas Fiore. We also have Ma'am Mary Grace Iray Mercado. We also have Ma'am Thelma of the Division of Davao Oriental, and Ma'am Efondo. Okay? Sir Joshua, please live them on screen via StreamYard on our open forum platform. Yes. First question. Okay, we'll have all this with our facilitator, Doc Joffrey. The question, Doc, okay, nandito na ba sila lahat sa platform? Chief Lorna. Okay, we have Dr. Joffrey, and this is the question. Okay, Doc Jeff, how can we apply these learnings now, considering that we do not have direct contact to our learners due to the current situation or in the pandemic time?
Wow, nice question. So, actually, learning, we cannot stop learning, by the way. No, we have to remember that learning is a continuous process. So, take note that learning starts always at home and always ends at home. So, what we know about during the time without pandemic, very courageous. The teachers will talk, will communicate most of the time with students. And here comes that the pandemic comes in, so the learning situation will focus merely within family setting. But it doesn't mean that the teachers' pedagogical approaches will end up there. So through distributing of instructions, all blended instructions will be given and will be provided through modular, through radio base, and whatever it is, not just to stop, but to continue processing the learning continuum. So we will not worry about this because time and again, our learners, our children at home may completely experience the basic foundation of education. Let's try to remember on that. But it would be nice if the teacher can really penetrate inside a classroom and processing the information from education, education learning curriculum, no, the way the curriculum set for students. So what I'm trying to emphasize here is that learning cannot stop. It is a continuous process. Thank you so much. Nice question.
Okay, I agree with you, Doc Jeff, because in this COVID-19 platform, the education has changed dramatically with the distinctive rise of the e-learning education, whereby teaching is undertaken remotely and on digital platforms. But there are those who cannot really have these digital platforms. That's why there is an advent of module distribution. And that research shows that online learning has been shown to increase retention of the information, especially so that we are now on our pandemic era or the COVID-19 pandemic. So we have to ensure digital equity and we have to take note of our stakeholders also, Doc Jeff. Our stakeholders, especially so, are local government units who really play a very significant role in getting on the access of education at this time. So schools play a lot of role in the digital learning days and have worked through home in the connectivity of our learners. Wow, that's it. Thank you very much. Diba, Chief? Chief would like also to say something.
Of course, as what our director has said, this is a time which is a really hard time, not a bad time, but a hard time. But we have to learn, and we are very blessed because this time we are already learning about technology, which will really help us go through. And so, therefore, we believe that our learners as of today will be much stronger than us because they are even two steps or three steps ahead of us in terms of technology. And so, therefore, we'll have to make a move in order for us also to cope up and give them more if ever we have also learned more. So that's very, very, very good question. No, how we are going to cope with the present time, which is the pandemic, the COVID-19. Yes.
Thank you very much, Chief Lorna. Wow, that's it. So we really have addressed your issues and concerns at this time. That dramatically we changed a little bit of our learning. That's why we have also some sort of the most essential learning competencies in depth ed. Okay, so much for that. We'll be moving on to our next question. I hope that there will be examples fitted for this modular and virtual classrooms po. Actually, happy ko ani na webinar, big help in addressing emotional concerns ng learners and even teachers. Sana lang, examples are given not inside a classroom kay wala man ta nagagamit og classrooms this times po. Okay. So yes, can we give fitted examples to virtually? Doc Jeff, virtual approaches of our learners since
Yes.
this pandemic. Yes, go ahead, sir.
So, meaning we are exposing nowadays using the technology, the via virtual webinar or education platforms. So, all we have to do is to accept the reality that it is now the time that we have to adjust and flexible enough to facilitate the learning condition. Okay, so even as teachers, we cannot deny the fact that we are that expert also manipulating the technology. So all we have to do is to learn more on this because we have to go down with the learners. So again, I would like to emphasize again that virtual is not only means for facilitating the information coming from the education side. So that's it. And let's continue working on it as long as we can process the the learning that we want to impart to the students, because the four corners of a classroom is not purely the right place to process the learning condition. So everywhere is a learning condition for everyone. Yes, thank you.
Thank you very much on that one, Sir Jeff. Diba, Sir Jeff? That's the question. We really have to remember that we also have, Sir Jeff, the radio-based instruction. We also have the TV-based instruction at this time that Department of Education is ensuring with us, with our Undersecretary Elaine Delby Pasqua, who's giving all the opportunities that we can give to our learners, the kind of quality of education. Because since it's virtual, our learners are just staying at home. We have the RVBI, we have the TVBI, and we also have our e-learning platforms like the Slido.com, the Menti. We can like have accommodated our students at that. So there are a lot of things that we can do to our learners, but the problem sometimes is the kind of connectivity that we can connect to our learners because we cannot go there face to face. Tama po ba, Chief Lorna?
Yes, Alba, very well said. Because our teachers were already trained of the learning delivery modalities, right? And they can have the blended learning delivery modes where they can go through the different platforms. They can have the RBI, the radio-based instruction program. They can have also the TV-based instruction program and also there's no problem about the different learning delivery modalities because our teachers are very well adept to this. Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Ma'am Virginia, would you like to say something, ma'am, for the question that had addressed with us on the virtual platforms that we can give to our students, especially so that this is pandemic, we cannot have our classroom to classroom management and other strategies that we can give or the best practices of that?
The best way for having the virtual classroom, or I know most of us doesn't have that virtual classroom or yung lesson talaga na nag-teach with the students, no? Most of us or the teachers using the GCs, yung group chats with the students. No, yun yung talaga na ginagamit. Plus the modules. Okay. That way, the students can then communicate with the teachers. na hindi masyadong mahal yung kanilang internet connection. That's the easiest way para mas maka-communicate yung estudyante sa kanilang teachers.
Yes, that's true, ma'am, no? The synchronous and the asynchronous type of education. We can go online, the GCs, or the platform of the social media, and the other forms. Wow, this is it. So I think Ma'am Agnes had just given us two questions, and that's all, Chief. Kasi binasa ko rin ang sinabit ni Ma'am Agnes. Thank you, Ma'am Agnes Sagsagat, for giving us these two questions. And as she went through all those in our platform today, she just had two questions for us in the open forum, Chief. Naka-mute. Okay, there are only two questions, Chief. Then I think that's all for our open forum. Thank you very much to our entire Region 11 participants for today. Thank you very much for your questions that would have shown that you really had an effort, continuous effort for us, giving us all our bests on this webinar series on the Regional Division Virtual Program on the positive discipline in everyday teaching. We're giving you nothing less but always the best for our learners. Para sa bata, para sa bayan, sulong edukalidad. Yes, thank you also to Dr. Jeffrey L. Bernabe, to Madam Virginia P. Fondo. And at this point of time, ladies and gentlemen, we are having our no less than the ever dynamic and supportive on her time, effort, and abilities and skills with us today, ladies and gentlemen, with a resounding round of applause for our Chief of the Human Resource Development Division, Chief Lorna F. Mapinogos, on our synthesis.
And so I am reminded that I will be giving you the synthesis of the whole day's activity today with this positive discipline for everyday teaching. So I think I'll have to start first with what our director has said just this morning, that it reminds him about how he will respond to all the expectations coming from the superintendent down to the education program supervisors, even here in the regional office, and to the schools where he went to. So there was a big expectations which siguro naging stressor na rin sa kanya, no? Pero because we had been educated according to him, we are so blessed because we had been educated, and so therefore we were able to surpass. We were able to come up with good decisions because the stressors are always there. We can never say that they will be out of our life. They will always be there. But he asked us, what about our children? What are we going to do? Because we are so busy and we even forget our children. And so he is very, very much hopeful and very positive that this generation today, because they are living in this very hard situation in this time of pandemic, and he believes that they will become the strong generation because we will be in a battle of winning the game, no, the game, and so we will never give up with our children, no matter what. So therefore, that is why we are here today, learning this uh, positive discipline in everyday teaching. And so, to capsulize all, I know that you have already heard about our objectives, where we will really capacitate you, our participants, in all the governance level, no, from the region to the schools to the division, down to the 11 divisions, the schools division, no? And so, that is our pinaka purpose, no? That's our very aim. No, meaning of the positive discipline has been clearly given to you, and that the students develop their own self discipline. How can they develop? There will be a very clear and consistent communication. And so, communication or consistent reinforcement of the expectations and rules and even limits, and then knowing students building a mutually respectful relationship. So it's not only the students who will respect the teachers, but it will be a mutual, the teacher and the students. And so therefore, corporal punishment and physical discipline, the physical and humiliating punishment will form a very big impact in the lives of our learners, especially their emotions. So there will be an emotional impact. So therefore, we'll have to more or less avoid it. And positive discipline gives us hope. Changing social norms, gradual change can happen. I can remember when sometimes I am in the verge of really shouting, no? Because there are times now you will be very, very full enough and your heart is very heavy. Pero if you are going to think of slow down, and then count 1 to 10 so that you will be able to calm down and talk nicely to the one you are very angry with. It's very, very simple. Ana lang yun di ay. Ganyan lang talaga, no? So, therefore, teachers still need to learn positive discipline. Yes, it's very important because it is your role in helping the parents support their children's education, and using positive discipline. There's a time when I have see a video na ang bata ay umiiyak kasi gusto ko na talaga ang talagang tunay na teacher. Ayoko na dito sa bahay. Gusto ko na sa school. I need a real teacher. Meaning, the parent doesn't know how to teach the child. So therefore, the foundation of positive discipline in school is very important, di ba? So therefore, we'll have to put in mind all the child rights and principles. It was clearly explained to us by Ma'am Jonas Priore and also Miss Isidra Despi that we have to learn all the legal basis about the child's rights, which rights or based approach that helps guide teachers in creating and maintaining a learning environment where all children are respected and are successful teachers. Yeah, because you already know the rights. And so you should never transgress any right in order for you to have peace in mind, di ba? Kasi kung matransgress mo ang rights ng mga bata, no, it will be a big problem. Okay, so we learn about the convention on the rights of the children. We learn all about the Article 5, government will respect the responsibilities with will respect the responsibilities, rights, and duties of parents to care for their children. Is the right and the duty of the parents to care for their children in order for their children to grow good and become a better citizen of the Philippines. Article 18, parents have primary responsibility for upbringing and the development of the child and supported by the government. Of course, the government is always there. They are always supporting us in terms of course, education for the Department of Education. We have education for the Department of Health. We have the healthcare and all. And so different systems in the government helps the child and the family and the parents, of course. So we also have learned about the models, no, of setting long-term goals, providing warmth, providing structure, understanding, and child development, recognizing individual differences and problem solving. So if you say about providing warmth. So it means siguro we'll have to hug our children. We'll have to kiss our children. We'll have to say, I'm very sorry because I was not able to control myself. Ang uban nga mga parents doesn't know how to say sorry to their children, but they wanted their children to say sorry for them. I'm very sorry for them also. And so, if you say the structure is the communication, how you are going to transmit the words to your children in order for them to really understand what they have done or what you wanted them to do. Okay? So there were many practical and real situations presented, and you were even asked, what are you going to do right now? So those are the short term and the long term goals in order for you. So, ang haba talaga ng sinulat ko. Pasensya na kayo ha. So, summing up, the stress response is automatic, but we can learn to regulate it with practice. Yes, the stress response is there. Pag na-stress ka, andyan na kaagad. Pero we'll have to learn how to practice to be slowly, no? In our reactions. Self-regulate. Teach learners to self-regulate, not to uh, inflict punishment. We all have to live with stress. Teaching is stressful. Of course, it's very stressful. And what are you going to do with it? Manage it. Keep our thinking brains in charge. Okay? So another is teachers have opportunity to establish good relationships and habits that can lead to long-term goals for their learners. And in the end, you will be the best teacher when you will be remembered by your learners that you had been very warm, you had been making a very good structure, communication lines with them, di ba? So, typical developmental characteristics of children are often the sources of conflict and are misinterpreted as bad behavior. Actually, some are bad behaviors, but there are also not behaviors, but just their ways of showing or telling you that they need you, that they need your pag-aaruga or care, your nurturing. Okay, providing warmth. Okay, so I think all of those you have already learned. And at this point in time, I would like to say to all our facilitators, no, Ma'am Ifondo is here. Thank you so much. Ma'am Virgie, and all others who are not here anymore, Ma'am Despi, Ma'am, of course, si Ma'am Grace, Iray, Mercado, and also Ma'am Piori of Davao City, and all, especially my colleagues here, no? Si Dr. Jeffrey Bernabe and Miss Ava Aconia, and of course, Miss Agnes Sagsaga. Thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. I know that this is not the end, but this is just the beginning of the series of webinars that we will be taking through this month. So thank you so much for your indulgence of hearing us, and salamat kaayo sa inyong mga pangutana ha. Thank you so much for your questions. I know that you are teachers and you are very, very intelligent, no, in asking questions, but I hope that that you will do also with your children, with your learners, no? That if ever you will ask questions and they cannot answer, do not be do not be stressed, because that's really the process of teaching, that we will be having the Q&A, the question and answer portion. Okay, so thank you so much and good day, everyone.
Thank you very much. So our Chief, Lorna F. Mapinogos of the Human Resource Development Division. Thank you, Madam. Wow, that's really very inspiring of you, ma'am, with our synthesis today of what has been through in the entire day. And this is just only on the first day of our 9 days, actually. And nevertheless, we also would like to thank once again our facilitators of today. Thank you very much, Ma'am Jonas Pioria of the Division of Davao City, Ma'am Ifondo of Division of Davao City of Davao City National High School, Ma'am Thelma of the Division of Davao Oriental. We also have Ma'am Mary Grace Iray of the Division of Davao Oriental, and yours truly, I'm here, Division of Davao City, and of course the regional office at the same time, your education program specialist too, and nevertheless, actually, our education program supervisor who's spearheaded right here of our positive discipline in everyday teaching, Madam Esidra B. Despi. Maraming salamat sa inyo. Of course, we have from the Division of Davao de Oro, Division of Matis City, Division of Davao Oriental, and Division of Davao del Norte on this first batch. Thank you very much. And of course, there is already a high growth and adoption in education technology even before the COVID-19 pandemic. Meanwhile, we are now adapting on this technology. Many of the learning platforms offer free access of their services. A while back, when I had my lecture in the pedagogical principles, I started with the Slido. We also have Ken, the autopractor. We have the Mentimeter, where we can create interactive classes. So there is unlimited video conferencing, auto translation capabilities. We also have some of our platforms that I know for a fact that you are having that one right now, especially so that we are on the crisis. Significantly, we play vital roles in shaping the lives of our learners. How we treat them could really affect their long-lasting learning, whether positive or negative. Therefore, let us perform our duties and responsibilities in having full awareness of the consequences of the actions. Let us all work together to ensure a nurturing and a safe school environment for our children. Meet either way in a form of virtual platform. Thank you also for our stakeholders who really play a vital role, and of course, our local government units. Respected Regional Director Dr. Alan G. Farnazo, with our Assistant Regional Director Dr. Maria Ines C. Asuncion, to the Chief of the Human Resource Development Division, Chief Lorna F. Mapinogos, and to our facilitators today and thereafter. Thank you very much. And to our ICTU Technical Director, we have Sir Josh Wong, thank you. And thank you to Mr. Pocholo Hernandez and to Mr. Eugene Dorado. Maraming salamat sa inyo. Thank you. And of course, we are reminded, thank you, Sir Josh, for the monitoring and evaluation. Okay, we have that one in the quad, yeah, from the Quality Assurance Division. We'll give view of the monitoring and evaluation, and that is flashed on the screen right now. Please don't forget to fill the one out. That's really very important to gauge the success of our activity today. Okay, so thank you very much. We'll be seeing you once again tomorrow. And for our wow, management of learning through our online from the division of Davao del Norte and Davao de Oro. Davao del Norte will be the invocation and Davao de Oro will be the virtual management of learning. And thank you. This is really a wonderful time for all of us today. And that is, we are going to be always reminded that our duty as a teacher will always take a very important role in our day-to-day experiences. And that I would like to take once again in Article 3 in the UN Convention on the Rights of the Child in all our actions concerning children, the best interest of the child shall always be a primary consideration. This has been Maureen Ava B. Acuña, an Education Program Specialist 2 of the Human Resource Development Division, Davao Region, your virtual host for today, and thereafter saying, to God be the highest glory. Have a pleasant afternoon, everyone.